And if you've ever been in like one of those public bathrooms, like pooping, and then the sprayer's like, zero. Hey everyone, it's Anna. Today I want to do a fragrance haul. So I have been focusing a lot on fragrance lately because there's not really been a whole lot of beauty releases that have really done it for me, or to where I feel like I need to buy more makeup. And a great place here on YouTube, other than just the beauty space, is actually the fragrance space. I find everybody to be very kind, and I've really been enjoying watching their videos because most of the fragrance reviewers are smaller YouTubers. And the thing is, I have nothing against larger YouTubers, but I just find that opinions seem to be less manufactured, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the haul, show you everything that I picked up, and give you kind of little mini reviews. But again, I haven't been able to wear and test all of these other than like putting them in a little spot on my arm and sniffing them as I've picked them up. So I will be including the notes of all these fragrances as well on the screen as I talk about them. I get most of my notes information from, I believe it's basenotes.net. So if you see like the little green pyramid, that is where that information has come from. So I first want to talk about some fragrances that I picked up from fragrancenet.com. Is that what it is? I don't know, FragranceNet. And FragranceNet is a website where you can get perfumes at a discount, and they are 100% authentic. They just may not come with the fancy box, or they might be like the older packaging, or some of them are even new packaging, but you don't get as much of a discount on those. But typically you can get almost any perfume 30% off at any given time, at least. That's where the first 4 fragrances have come from on here. So I'm not much of a floral person, but in the summer and spring even, I like to wear Nerolia perfumes. They kind of have like that beachy vibe to them, and a lot of the times when people are smelling a perfume and they think it's coconut based, it's actually Nerolia, and it just kind of has a really fresh sort of aquatic sort of smell to it. But I did pick up this, which is the Guerlain Nerolia Bianca. And this fragrance is obviously Nerolia based, but it has a little bit of Nerolia in it. I find I can smell it, but to me this is mostly an orange perfume. I smell a lot of orange, and it's a slightly sweet orange to where it's not super like harsh and like orange in your face citrusy. It's a little bit sweet, and it actually reminds me a lot of a fragrance I already had. So 4711 is, they actually have just a straight up Nerolia sort of splash on cologne, but they do remixes every now and then. And I purchased the 2018 remix, I guess like 2 years ago, whenever this came out. And this is a little less sweet than this, but very, very similar fragrances because they have that orange and Nerolia both in them. The next fragrance I picked up is this by Guerlain, which is, I can't even pronounce it, but it's Bleue. I don't know. Maybe I'll find someone online who can pronounce it and I'll put it in here. Bleue. But it's French. I can't pronounce anything in French. Yeah. I don't speak French. But anyway, I picked this up because I don't know where I read somewhere that this was the scent that they had put in their makeup, and then I read somewhere else that no, they actually have a specific terracotta perfume, which may be different. But I did have a bronzer a couple of years ago that wasn't the terracotta bronzer. It came in like a trio with a blush and a highlight and the bronzer as well, and it did smell like this. I looked up the notes to the actual smell of their bronzer. I was able to, or their makeup, I was able to find it online, and a lot of the notes do cross over in this, but I find that this is more complex than what is in their powder and their makeup. But as you can see on the screen, the notes are bergamot, lemon, coriander, aniseed, tarragon, clary sage, and neroli. And then there's the rose, the iris, and all that stuff in here. Honestly, to me, I smell musk and I smell floral, but it's It's an older, more vintage floral, which makes sense because this perfume came out in 1912. And usually I hate those scents, but I think because it reminds me of the makeup, I actually don't mind it. It just has a very pleasant scent to it, but it does remind me of something that is a vintage perfume. I hate to say that an older person would wear, but the thing is, when you're finding yourself and you find scents that you really enjoy, those end up not changing even though the perfume world is changing. So this just does really have that vintage smell to me. So no disrespect, you know, but it does have that smell, but I do enjoy it. I actually like this scent more than Shalimar. I have Shalimar, and this seems a little bit fainter, I would say. But I am getting mostly, it's like an herbally sort of floral is what I'm getting. All right, so anyway, moving on. I picked this up on there from Molten Brown, and this is their Fiery Pink Pepper. And I really enjoy this scent, and the reason I picked it up is because one of my favorite lotions and body washes from Molten Brown was Pink Pepper Pod, and I think they might have discontinued Pink Pepper Pod or maybe just named it this, but they smell exactly the same, and that's what I was hoping it would smell like. So I am just gonna pair it with that lotion and with that body wash, but but the notes are the pink pepper, obviously, which you pick up on really quickly. Like, it's just a little bit spicy, but like still fresh. And then it's got tangerine elemi oil, which I don't know what that is, but then nutmeg. It's got some ginger, patchouli, and cedarwood, which I can smell the base notes of the patchouli and cedarwood, but it's not heavy. It's actually a fresh scent without it being soapy or aquatic. So I really enjoy this. It's a very unusual scent. And I definitely see how it could be unisex, as it says that it is. So I'm liking it. And then the last fragrance I got from Fragrance Net is this by KENZO. And this was a little bit disappointing because I'm not gonna lie, I mostly bought it because I loved the bottle. So let me see if I can put it to where you can actually see what the bottle's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this. Look at that elephant. Isn't it gorgeous? I knew as soon as the package came in the mail, because this was rattling around in there, and I was hoping at least the bottle itself wasn't broken, or it would have, you know, been a mess. But it wasn't broken. However, the elephant was broken off. I asked my husband to fix it. He never got around to it, so it's still broken. I'll probably have him use like some epoxy or something like that to stick it back together. This fragrance, I mostly get clove. I don't know if you remember that old clove gum that used to be sold in like hardware stores and old-timey stores and things like that back in the day, but that is what this smells like to me. So it says that it has like mandarin, cardamom, cumin, caraway, clove, heliotrope, ylang-ylang. Is it ylang-ylang? Ylang-ylang? I don't know. Mango juice, licorice, vanilla patchouli, casmarin, and amber. So I smell like the clove and the licorice. Those are the two main things that I'm smelling from this, but it's not jarring. I actually quite like it. I'm gonna stop sniffing it now. So I did pick up 2 scents from TJ Maxx, which again, TJ Maxx are always blind buys because they have them in those plastic containers. And I ended up getting this right here. It's Atelier BLOEM, is that how you pronounce it? In the scent William. And I got this, the thing is I had never heard of this house before, but every time I go to TJ Maxx, what I end up doing is I look at the fragrances that they have, and then I then look up the notes online and see if that's something I would be interested in. So I did that with this, and then I noticed that this house is generally pretty pricey, and I ended up getting this for $59, which it was on clearance for $59. It was $79, and then they marked it down to $59 there. And this is another neroli scent. So this has neroli, nectarine, lavender, orange flower, freesia, Sambac Jasmine, Blonde Wood, Amber Vanilla Musk, and Sandalwood. And it does lean a little masculine, but it's the Nerolia in it just definitely makes this a unisex scent, which they advertise it as being so. And it's just really pleasant. It's something that I would picture if I were gonna go, which I have a lot of these fragrances and I've never been sailing, but it's like one of those like beach walk, like sailing sorts of perfumes. So I really enjoy it, and the bottle is very simple, yet pretty. So I don't know what happened to this house, because apparently they do have quite a few of their fragrances on clearance in TJ Maxx right now, because then once I started looking up the house, people were mentioning that they were finding their fragrances at TJ Maxx. I did find another fragrance of theirs at TJ Maxx called Iris, but when I looked up the notes, it said it was powdery, and I guess I haven't really told you like the types of scents that I like. To me, it's about the combination, but I very much dislike powdery perfumes. So that's why a lot of the times when I smell these older perfumes and then the dry down is powdery, I end up disliking them. I kind of have a visceral reaction to it. Well, I'm not going to get into it. Maybe I'll get into it in a future video as to why powdery perfumes just really set me off. But yeah, I dislike anything powdery. I like to lean on the unisex front, because I find a lot of the times those fragrances are hardly ever powdery. So the next thing I got was Daisy by Marc Jacobs. And the thing is, I've seen this at TJ Maxx tons of times and I never even thought anything about it. I went shopping with my grandma and two of my aunts probably about a year ago. This was before COVID happened. And my aunt had mentioned how my cousin wears this fragrance and how she wanted to get a bottle because she just loves the way it smells. And so a couple of years ago, I went through all of my fragrance, like little tester things, and I got rid of all of the ones that really weren't what I was interested in, which were pretty much, again, I lean towards masculine or unisex scents. And so I kept all of like, you know, the commodity, like the book and all that stuff. And I got rid of all the Marc Jacobs scents because I just was not interested in them. So this was a blind buy, but I did look at the notes and there was nothing in there that I thought would bother me. So I went ahead and picked it up, and it actually is very pleasant. It's got strawberry, violet, grapefruit, gardenia, violet petals, jasmine, musk, white woods, and vanilla. And it is just a very pleasant floral fragrance. I don't get a lot of the vanilla in it, but I do get the fruit, and I get the floral and the musk. All right, so today I was supposed to go on a bicycle ride. That's why I look like this. I did start the bicycle ride. I think we did like maybe 2.5 miles before the people that we went with decided they didn't want to go on a bicycle ride. So we turned back around, and we still didn't want to just like waste the day. We were already out. So I racked up the bicycles and we decided to go to TJ Maxx on the way home. On the way home, I found this from Banana Republic, and this is Peony and Peppercorn, which again, all of your TJ Maxx scents that you purchase are always going to be blind buys. So I went ahead, I looked online just to kind of see what it was supposed to smell like, and I decided I wanted to go ahead and purchase it. And the reason I decided to go ahead and purchase it was because it reminded me, kind of some of the notes reminded me of this that I just purchased that's also in this video, but with more floral in it. And I thought maybe I might like that. I'm not a huge floral person, but I thought that it might be a pleasant scent. And so let me go ahead and look at the notes here. It says that it's got pink peppercorn, bergamot, which I love orange in my fragrance, and then peony, rose, skin musk, cashmere, wood. And I was like, you know what? I think that's going to be pretty good. And I did spray some on. I'm one of those people, and I don't know if you are, if you go to TJ Maxx and you buy a fragrance, and especially if you buy it blindly, the minute I get into the car, I want to smell it. And it actually is really pleasant. This is one that when I go back to work here in a couple of weeks, that I feel like I could wear to work and it be pleasant to everybody and it's not going to bother them. So this is definitely going to be a back to work scent for me, just because it's a nice, pleasant floral that's not powdery. So I actually like it. All right, so now this is where the haul gets a little bit interesting, because again, I went down this wormhole online and I found fragrance oils. So my husband and I were actually talking about how when he was in the Middle East, like the smell and the oils and things like that that they wore. So then I started looking, I was like, well, I wonder if I could find some of those Middle East scents and actually get them, because I enjoy those smells as well. And I think we're on a bike path or something, and we smelled it and then just set a whole thing off. So anyway, I started looking it up, and there is a brand called AL-REHAB, and they make tons and tons and tons of fragrance oils. Anyway, a lot of them are made to be dupes for a lot of Western fragrances, and then they have their own fragrances. And then another thing that I was really interested in, because again, I don't like the powdery scents, is oud. I feel like I said that weird. Is it oud or oud? Either way, I knew I was interested in that because I really, really love a crisp, woody scent. So I did order I think it was like a 6-pack of these that you can get them fairly cheap on Amazon, around like $23 or so. And then I did order one individual. So I have 7 of these to show you. There are some of them that I really like, and then some I'm just kind of okay on, and and then some I could do without. So I'm going to start with the 2 that I could do without. And they are both the floral scents. So again, a lot of these scents are made to kind of mix on your skin, and you can make your own sort of concoction. So maybe if I mix these with something, I might feel a little bit different. But the first one is Jasmine. And here it is. This, I mean, you do get the jasmine. It is very floral, but it's a stronger jasmine, and it reminds me of like the bathroom sprays. Like if you go into like one of those public bathrooms in a nicer park that has one of those automatic sprayers on the wall, that like, like every 10 minutes, or maybe it just starts, I don't know how those work. Is it because it starts stinking in there, they start shooting off the spray, or is it just every 10 minutes they freshen? I don't know how it works, but that's what this smells like to me. And if you've ever been in like one of those public bathrooms, like pooping, and then the sprayer's like, Zero! And then this one is called Red Rose. And Red Rose, I get the rose, but it's got a little something else in it that makes it a little bit soapy. And this reminds me of church. All right, so as I was editing the video, for some reason I thought that maybe my camera had cut me off and I had just missed a small part, and I could just insert something really quickly in to fill it in. But no, I actually missed reviewing like 4 fragrances. So I'm just gonna start up where I left off. I guess I'll address it, but I now have braces. I also have a palette expander that I'm supposed to wear most of the time as well, which gives me a horrible speech impediment. So I have that off so I can do the video really quickly. But anyway, I left off with this, and this is the Crown Perfumes or AL-REHAB Red Rose, and I'll show that to you. So this fragrance, as I left off, I was telling you about how it reminded me of those tiny little soaps that, just to kind of give you a quick backstory, because again, a lot of scents go back to memory for me. So I grew up in Southern Illinois, and I went to a Baptist church that was really far out in the country, like on a gravel road out in the country. And there were like, 2 bathrooms, like 2 single bathrooms in the church. And in the ladies' bathroom, they had carpet on the floor. Like that's how old it was. It was like probably decorated probably in the 70s, and it had just stayed that way, but it was carpeting in the bathroom, and there was like lace everywhere, and like, curtains, and that sort of country, like 1970s sort of decor. And on the back of the toilet, there was a wicker basket with handmade soaps shaped like roses that smelled like this. So that's what it brings me back to. So at first it just kind of reminded me of a Baptist church bathroom, but since I have had a couple of days since filming that, I did actually try this on my skin, and mixed with my skin, it's actually quite nice. In the bottle, I don't like it a whole lot, but then once it mixes with my skin, it's pretty nice, and then it's good for mixing with other fragrances as well. So it says that it has rose, vanilla, and then floral, balsamic, and it says it's powdery, which again, generally I do not like powdery scents. But since I guess it kind of reminds me of a soap, I guess I can see that, but it's not overly powdery. The rose really comes out. I can smell like the rose and the floral, but I don't really smell anything else that it says that it has in there. So moving on to the next one is White Musk. So this is just a really soft musk scent. And again, this brings me back to the 90s. Like this scent is the scent, if you were trying to get your daughter her first perfume, it would be this. And I think I'm thinking that because this smells a lot like what my first perfume was in the 90s. I don't remember what my first perfume was. It was, I think, something cheap from like Walmart or something. My family didn't have a lot of money, but it reminds me of this. So it's just like a soft, and it says white musk, but it's just like a soft floral musk. I'm gonna see if it has floral in it, because I do smell floral in it. No, it just says musky, powdery, animalic, and amber, but I don't smell any amber. And I don't know what floral it would be, and maybe it would be like a daisy or something, but not very much. It's just mostly like a very soft, clean musk scent. This scent I absolutely love, and I didn't think I would like it because I don't like chocolate scents most of the time, but this smells so good. This is Choco Musk, and I really like this. This smells like Cocoa Puffs. It's a rich, like milk chocolate vanilla scent, and I can't stop smelling it. It smells so good. And I think it's supposed to probably have a little bit of musk in it. Oh, but it's a really good one. And then this scent right here is called Golden Sand. And it's a little bit sweeter. It's got caramel and vanilla in it. Let me see what the other scents are. It's got amber, and it says just sweet, I don't know, and balsamic. So yeah, I just smell like the amber, the caramel, and the vanilla. It's a very like creamy, sweet scent. So this fragrance right here is Sultan Al Oud. It's my absolute favorite, and it reminds me so much of one of my favorite fragrances I have in my collection. I have 2 bottles of this plus the oil, but this is Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker, and it's a very dry, woody scent. It's great for mixing with sweeter scents to kind of bring them over to be a little bit more masculine, but oh, it just smells so good. It's one of my absolute favorites. And the notes in the Sultan Al Oud, I was able to find it on base notes. It's oud, spicy notes, floral notes, musk, vanilla, woody notes. And I think this is definitely a unisex scent. It just smells so good. And then the last 4 fragrances that I want to share with you are, I guess, replicas or dupes of other fragrances. So I don't have any of these fragrances that these are trying to replicate, but these are all perfume oils, because after I bought all of these, I started Googling and doing some research, and then I came across this company, and this is a Canadian company, and they do impressions of very well-known fragrances. They have hundreds of different options on their website. And there are a few reasons why I don't have a problem with this. Because a lot of the times, like when I find knockoffs and things like that, I have a little bit of a problem with it. And I even have a problem with when you go into a drugstore and you see like the drugstore our impression of or the knockoff of a certain scent. I have an issue with that, because the first reason I have an issue with that is because they're usually not very good. But then the second reason is it's still in the same form. These are in oil form as opposed to fragrance form. And for a few reasons, I actually think the oil perfumes have a lot of benefit as opposed to just like a regular alcohol-based perfume. And the reason for that is a lot of different religions do not want to consume any type of alcohol, whether it be on their body or in their body. And so this is a great way for them to get those scents in without using alcohol. The other reason is you can pop these into your purse. They're very strong and you can put them in your purse and touch up throughout the day if you need to. And they're also great for travel, and they're small, and they are less expensive. So in some cases, I think this is great since they're less expensive. If you're someone like me who does like and can use regular alcohol-based perfumes to like spray on, I think this is great to just try their impression of it. And then if you end up really enjoying the way it smells, go ahead and buy the full size or spend that money, because a lot of these fragrances that they're duping are fragrances that cost a couple $100s. And I have a ton of fragrances, but not a lot of them are super, super expensive. I think the most I've ever paid for a fragrance is $125. So these are just a great way to be able to save some money and just see if you like that scent. And then if you do, yeah, splurge, get the full bottle. So I'm going to start off with Santal 33. So the thing is, since I don't have the original to compare it to, I cannot tell you how close they are. There was another YouTuber that I saw the other day when she was talking about these fragrances. She has like, I would say at least 100 of these from this brand. And she does have some of the fragrances to compare, so I would definitely suggest checking her out, and I will leave her information below. Her name's not coming to mind now, but I'll probably even put something across the screen here. But anyway, she had some fragrances to compare it to, and she was saying that a lot of them were very, very close, if not exact. Since I don't have them to compare it to, circling back to that, I'm going to still look up the notes of the original fragrances and just see if I can pick them out and smell them in these. The reason I'm doing that is because obviously their website does have what these notes are, which again, I'll put those on the screen as well. But again, I don't have the original. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on. So the first one I got is their impression of Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. And the tobacco that I smell in this is not like a smoky tobacco. It's like the fresh sort of like tobacco, I guess, if that makes sense, mixed with the vanilla. It has kind of a bite to it, and I think by it not making it with that smokiness makes it feel less like powdery or sweet. So I really enjoy this, which again, I don't know about the original, but the notes are oud, rosewood, cardamom, sandalwood, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. And amber and tonka, to me, a lot of the times almost can give a powdery sort of effect to fragrances, but for whatever reason, the type of tobacco that was used in this, or what they were, it might just be the cardamom, because here's the thing, it doesn't say tobacco anywhere on the note list, but the way this smells, like the type of tobacco smell it is, I feel like really brings away from that powderiness. What I do find to be a little bit odd though, in the original pyramid of the Tobacco Vanille, it does say top notes tobacco leaf, and then spices, tonka bean, tobacco flower, vanilla, cocoa, dried fruit accord, and woods. So the notes listed are a little bit different, but I actually, the way I smell this, it smells closer to me of the description of the notes in the Tom Ford fragrance as opposed to what is on the Perfumery or the Oil Perfumery website. The next one's also a Tom Ford fragrance, and it's Oud Wood. Again, after the whole Middle Eastern sort of fragrance thing, I really was enjoying oud. This to me, I can smell the oud, but it also has like a hint of soap in it, but not in a bad way. And I do want to mention on the packaging on this, I do like the packaging, but whoever puts this label on didn't do a very good job. You can kind of see the crinkle. They put it on crooked. So there's actually like a huge like line right there and seam in the fragrance. You don't really see it, but I feel it. But I actually do really enjoy the scent, and they say on their website that it has oud wood, rosewood, cardamom, sandalwood, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. And then compared to the actual Oud Wood by Tom Ford, everything is the same except for the note of Chinese pepper is contained in the original. Again, I don't have them to compare, but I just wanted to point that out, that note in the original doesn't seem to be listed on this website. The next one I got is Baccarat Rouge, or Baccarat Rouge 540. This smells so good. So they say on their website that it contains jasmine, saffron, orange, marigold, ambroxan, evernyl, cedarwood, ambergris, and fir balsam. The crazy thing is I pick up on a sweet fruitiness in here. However, it doesn't smell super orangey to me. It's a very well balanced, beautiful fragrance. And then the notes on base notes for the original perfume are the exact same on this one. So if I use this whole thing up, I might splurge and get the full bottle of the original because this smell is intoxicating. It's really good. And then the last fragrance I got is Santal 33. And the notes listed on the website are cardamom, iris, violet, Australian sandalwood, cedarwood, papyrus, ambrox, leather accord, and musk. And I really like this. And I don't know what it is, but in a way it reminds me a little bit of Commodity Book. I would have to like cross-reference the notes and see, but it does remind me of Book a little bit. I really enjoy this fragrance as well. Again, I haven't worn it. I literally just kind of swatched it on my arm and like kind of did a sniff, but I haven't worn it throughout the day yet. The notes for the original of Santal 33 as well, again, seem to be the same, cross-referencing between the Oil Perfumery's website and base notes for the original fragrance. All right, so based off the fragrances that I purchased today and that I told you that I really enjoyed from what I did purchase, let me know if you have any suggestions below on something you find that would be like similar or that I would just enjoy. Let me know what some of your favorite fragrances are, and I guess that's it. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.